So, hi everybody. Welcome to Popdust On Record. I'm your host, Jay Phillips, and today we are here with Gina Alice. Thank you for meeting with us today.
Hello, Jay. Thank you so much for having me. Great talking to you today.
So, I kind of want to just start from the very beginning with you, where you kind of started off as a classically trained pianist. Kind of what was that like growing up, and then how did you fuel that to your career now?
So I started playing piano when I was 4, and I got trained like in a pretty classical and traditional way. That meant like practicing 3-4 hours every day, and sometimes 5-6 on the weekends. But when I got a little bit older, when I started, I just started a little bit less, but then because I always was aiming for the professional path, so I was really practicing a lot. So this really shaped me as a musician, and I think it shaped my musical DNA. And my escape from this pretty strict musical upbringing was always composing my own music and writing songs and just escaping into this different side of the music world. And having these two big contrasts inside of me, like the classical and the pop one, they're just part of myself. And I'm so happy that through this new EP of mine, Dreamcatcher, I can finally share this world with my audience.
You kind of said that your heart was always kind of burning more for pop music throughout your life. So who were kind of some of the artists that were inspiring you when you were growing up?
There's so many, because there's so many genres I also love. I love pop, and so many, also electro, like so many different genres. And to name a few artists I really love are Christina Aguilera. I always loved her voice.
Yes.
Stripped is one of my favorite albums. Yeah. Then Rihanna, I'm a long time fan of hers. I think her personality, and she also has so many different sides, and every time it's a different, like a surprise. She's just so amazing. And Billie Eilish since a few years, and The Weeknd, his earlier albums like House of Balloons, they changed my perception also of R&B, because I was more used to the classic R&B, but his album like House of Balloons was more like a maybe bedroom, more sultry, like how to say it was just a new world of R&B. Yeah, so this really shaped my ear. When it comes to hip hop, I always loved Drake. I always loved Tupac and Mac Miller. Yeah, so many different artists.
Yeah, I feel like I love literally every single one of those artists. But also I kind of see you and Rihanna and the similarities though, because I feel like you both have so many different facets going on in life and different endeavors you're all working on, and you're both definitely hardworking. But you've got your show, Gina's Motel, you've got all these different things, you've got Dreamcatcher, and then obviously Disney. But can you tell our US viewers who might not be so familiar what Gina's Motel is, and kind of what that audience is for you?
Yes, first of all, oh my God, I'm so honored that I get to be the same breath and sentence as Rihanna. Thank you.
Of course.
I really love to challenge myself all the time, and to try out new things, and not to be afraid of change, push my limits, and also just do really new things. I think this is the most interesting thing you can do in life, just to push yourself. Yeah. And I do music, but I also do a lot in the fashion world. I work with Dior since a few years, and I'm the global ambassador of Guerlain, which is a very prestigious makeup and skincare brand from France. And yeah, I also do a lot of my own reality shows, especially in Asia. So I got my own reality show called Gina's Motel, and I opened that kind of motel, and every episode there's a young person or a young couple coming to me, and they have some issues or doubts, worries in their lives, and it's like a therapy session, and we're just talking and cooking together, and also bringing together people. For example, there was this one guy, he was he's very young, and he's an influencer in Asia, and he's but he never told his father, and because his father is very traditional and also didn't really like his profession as an influencer, of uncertainty. So we just got them together, and it was the first time they ever talked very intimate and very personal. So every episode there's another person coming. And I was so happy to make this kind of show that also had some meaning of like topics and issues of our society. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I think that's super important, especially for people who don't know. Like, it's good to tackle those mental health aspects and just like being raw and honest, especially with like your public platform that you have.
I think young people have a lot of pressure actually, just their lives and just keeping up with expectations of society and also their families. So I was just so happy to have my reality show and also just to work on those kind of young people's issues and worries.
Yeah, exactly. And I think like even in your music, you can kind of do that, is like address those topics and those like little things in life that happen that maybe not everybody wants to talk about. So like with your first single, Slow Mo, which released back in June, like how is that kind of a way for you to kind of open up to like people and your listeners that maybe like you're showing a different side now that they haven't seen as well?
Yeah, so when we did Slow Mo, we already got the 4 tracks like in our pocket, and we were thinking which song should be the first, and then we chose Slow Mo because that one is like a real contrast from everything what I did before in the past. I just wanted to show to have the courage to be bold and not to worry too much about what people might think, what they know about you, but actually they don't really necessarily know you in a complete way. So I just wanted to show that side of me without being afraid if people judge me and say, oh, you play the piano, why you're doing this. And sometimes I see those comments, but I think the people who want to understand you and want to support you, they will support you in every different side of you. And I just wanted to make this statement and say, this is also a side of me and I really want to share this with you. So Slow Mo was the first single.
You know, I think it's definitely like a good intro to you as well. And so how do you kind of like decide when you're making like your EP and everything, what songs like are going to represent you the best? Like, did you write more than what made it on, or was it kind of just like, I'm making a song for the EP type thing?
Yeah, so I have many more songs actually in my pocket and also in my mind what I want to release in the future. And when it comes to the EP, we were just looking for songs that are different but also build some nice synergy and just make sense together. So Slow Mo, Lonely in Paris, Ladies Room, and Game Show, they made it on the EP first. And some of them have a little bit of my piano DNA identity in the music, but also a few sound like completely different, like people wouldn't expect that for me. And this is what I like.
The surprise of it all is fun, like just shocking your listeners and giving them something that like maybe they weren't expecting when they were first tuning in.
Yes, I hope I can also maybe help other people to have the courage just to show different sides of themselves without being afraid to be judged and just doing just to believe in what you're believing in and just do it. Yeah, don't think too much. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah, no, I think what's most important as like you is you're kind of a role model to a lot of people. I'd say like a lot of people look up to you, and so like you even doing this and Disney and all of those different things are definitely inspiration for people.
Thank you. And also maybe my story can show that maybe at one point in your life it doesn't make sense and this door is not opened yet, but don't lose this dream of yours. Keep it inside and just work towards this. And one day when everything fits, the timing fits and destiny arrived, then it will happen. You can have different paths in your life. If you go this way, it doesn't mean you always just go this way.
Exactly. And when you were creating Dreamcatcher, like how did you want to capture your essential like pop sound finally? Like how did you go into it? What was your approach?
Yeah, so because when I grew up, I listened to a lot of R&B and just straight pop. So I think very naturally, when it comes to my music taste and also creation, it will have this flavor. When I go into the studio, I didn't really think in advance, like, oh, I really want to do this kind of just straight R&B, straight pop. It just melts all together, and it's a very natural process. So I just start always mostly with the piano chords, and then all the ideas just come together. And I think it's a mix of pop, R&B, jazz. Yeah, I would say.
Yeah, I think after listening to it, like I definitely get that kind of like very R&B Christina Aguilera inspo in there that's there, which I think is cool. And I don't think it's typical of every like pop intro to have such like a genre bending sound. Yeah, I think that's what's really unique about Dreamcatcher. So when fans are listening, I definitely think that's something to look out for, is kind of all of those different blends.
Thank you. It's maybe a little bit like a coffee. There are different blends, and sometimes it's a little bit more of this flavor, a little bit more of jazz, sometimes a little bit more of R&B. Yeah, but it's all coffee.
Right, like one day you're getting a latte, the next you're getting like a shot of espresso, whole thing. So you worked with your husband actually on multiple Disney projects. What was that like working together?
Yeah, so before I did this with my husband, I already got in one time by Disney China to sing the theme song of Frozen 2. So this was my Disney collaboration. And after that, I think it was like 2 years later, I started just recording a few Disney songs with my husband. And also we toured all around the world. So we did a Apple Plus special in London. We played at Royal Albert Hall. We played in so many different locations all over the world, and also more to come. So this was a dream come true for us, because Disney is just the sound of magic and the sound of everyone's childhood. And yeah, it's always just going through different generations. So it's just a magical music moment for us. And actually this one was also a big milestone for me, because the producer who worked on this album with us, he, after hearing me singing the song When You Wish Upon a Star, yeah, that's so when he listened to that one, he just said, I have some sound in my voice and he wants to do more with me. And then he recorded demos with me, and he just realized that I also write a lot of songs. So it all came together. So actually that album also helped me to pursue more my solo singing and songwriting career. So this shows that everything happens for a reason.
Yeah, no, that's so crazy how it all works out too in the end. Were you going in expecting really to like come out with some sort of deal? Like exactly. So going into that, it must have been wild.
Yeah, exactly. It was total destiny. So I was singing When You Wish Upon a Star in English, Korean, and Chinese. So for the different areas in the world. And when the producer heard me singing, he just said, oh, I want to do more with you. And I think your voice sounds pretty good. And I said that my dream is just to do more of my songwriting and just to record my music. And then it all came together. So
that's so cool. Yeah. It's like meant to be, honestly, in that sense. So like for people who might not have listened to you yet, what would you say like 3 essential songs of yours are, if you're like a first-time listener that give you the full idea of your music?
I think the EP actually really shows a lot of my personality and of my music. I really hope that people go support and go listen on Spotify and all the music platforms. And I think Dreamcatcher is I'm just setting my mark in the music world, just showing my songwriting and my music taste and all the different sides of me. I think this is actually, because it's just 4 tracks in total, so this really much shows a lot. So
I always like, whenever I ask that question, I kind of say it's like picking your favorite child almost. Like a lot of people can't pick just a few songs to listen to, because I'm like, I get that's a hard question.
Solo is more that laid back R&B, a little bit sultry, that kind of style. Ladies or like a upbeat and cute song, I'd say. It's about going into a ladies' room and before you don't know anyone, but when you come out, you feel so empowered because everyone is so positive and just complimenting each other and saying, oh, I love your lipstick shade, I love your dress. Like everyone is so empowering. So this is that vibe. And then Lonely in Paris is kind of a heartbreak song, but not from the perspective that, oh, I'm just weeping over someone. It's more like it's your loss that you mess, like this kind of feeling. And then the last song on the EP is Game Show. That one I would say is more little bit of a cinematic kind of sound, and it shows because when I was writing that song, I was actually feeling pretty sick because I had a very tight and busy and hectic schedule, and I felt like I always need to keep up with this kind of game show. Always try to show my like perfect and best side of me, and just I felt like so many young people have this kind of feeling. Like you watch people on social media and you think their lives are so perfect, and you also want to always show your likable side, but sometimes this costs actually our health. Yeah.
Yeah.
So this is what I felt writing the song.
I feel like, as we talked about, like the girls' room is such a universal experience for every girl. If you go into the girls' room, especially if you've had like a few glasses of champagne, like you are going to like transform your thinking on world peace. Like women can get stuff done in that bathroom.
It is. That song I wrote after I attended the Grammys. And when I went into the Grammys, I was a little bit like not so sure of my outfit and not feeling that confident yet. But then I walked into the ladies' room and I remember there were like beautiful girls and they said, "Oh, I love your dress and you look so like they really complimented each other." So I felt like after going to the ladies' room, now I'm ready. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's a PSA to like all people. If you're ever, or all women out there, if you're ever feeling like down on yourself, just go to the girls' bathroom, find some other girls, and they will hype you up.
Yes.
I think we're almost done our interview here, but I think I'm going to end it on one final question, which is like, if you have any piece of fashion advice for anybody, what would it be?
I think just dress for yourself. Just dress what makes you feel beautiful and comfy, and only yourself you can have your style. So I think it's good to get inspiration, but then just do your thing anyway.
I love it. Well, thank you so much, Gina, for sitting down with us today. Her new EP, Dreamcatcher, is out now, everybody, so go give it a listen. And hopefully we'll talk to you soon and potentially see you out on the road.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Jay.
Bye.